Good morning, guys. Today's video is about life with a Tesla in a small town. Let's talk about it. All right, I live in a small town in northern Illinois. Population is around 5,000 people. Grew up in a neighboring town with a similar population, and it's always been interesting living in a small town because people know you pretty much everywhere you go. And I mean, it's not tiny. It's not 100 people where everybody knows everything about everybody else, but it's small enough that if I go to a store, people are going to recognize me. And so it's hard to live incognito in a small town. And also, if you own an unusual product, my car fits that category. Or, you know, if a kid has a motorized razor scooter or something like that, everybody knows who it is. So any unusual product stands out. But a Tesla really sticks out like a sore thumb. Now, we live in a somewhat well-to-do section of Illinois, so it's not so much that Teslas are a little on the higher end cost-wise, it's just they are unusual for our area. And pretty much every time I go anywhere, I have to assume that somebody's going to ask me something about the car, which actually is a lot of fun. I know some people don't like it. If I'm not in a good mood that day, I may not want to be bothered, but for the most part, it's fun when you park the car and people ask about it. Well, yesterday, my wife and I went to a funeral, and it was an elderly lady, 90 years old, that our family knew very well. We would shovel her driveway in the wintertime and that, just a lovely old lady. And her grandson and his family were very close friends of ours many years ago. But about a decade or so back, they moved out of state, and he's a family counselor and started his own practice out of state. And we only see them maybe once a year. He comes in for fundraisers and different things for his clinic, but usually it's just at the fundraiser with a handshake. But we really haven't gotten together with them and talking at any length for 2 or 3 years. Anyway, we went to the funeral, and we pull in the parking lot, and immediately a couple that we also knew, again, small town, we know people, said, "Oh, is this your car?" And so they were asking about it, and yeah, this is the car. And they asked my wife, "Do you get to drive it at all?" And, you know, we talked quite a bit. And so we have to get inside. You know, we have a bunch of stuff to do today, and we want to have time for the visitation. So we go into the funeral home, and we start meeting with the family, specifically with the father, the friend of mine, and his wife and kids were making their rounds, visiting with other people. And so we were talking to him and, you know, sharing our condolences, and he's, you know, she led a full life, all the rest. Well, so then his wife walks up, and she said, "Thanks, you guys, for coming." And we said, "We're so sorry for your loss." The very next thing, her eyes get real big. She said, "Did you bring the car?" And I was caught off guard by this, and I almost didn't know what she was talking about, what she was asking. What do you mean? Oh, the car. Yeah, the Tesla, I guess you're asking about? Yeah, it's in the parking lot. She goes, "I want to go see it. Can I go see it?" I'm like, "We're at a wake for your husband's grandmother. Yeah, I guess." So it was strange. So we went outside, and she probably, I don't know, we were out there for 20 minutes, and she asked every question people typically ask. "Can I sit in it?" And, "Oh, this is just so wonderful." First off, these people, he was trained as a pastor. He's a family counselor at this point. They are not car people at all. They would never consider, I don't even think ever consider buying a new car at all, let alone a Tesla. They're not technically inclined people at all. I have no clue. We haven't really talked to them in a couple of years. Have no clue. It must have been my Facebook page, maybe. I don't know how they even knew about it. And it caught me really off guard. So she was so excited, and so then she said, well, I got to get back inside. One of the people came out and said, your husband's looking for you. So she went back in. Then another couple comes out and says, is this a Tesla? Yeah, here we go again. So I mean, we couldn't leave. First we couldn't get into the place, and then we couldn't leave the parking lot, and it was unusual. Now, I know people watching the channel say, well, I live in California, or, you know, some other area where Teslas are common, and that doesn't happen to us out in our state. I got to tell you, if you live in a smaller town, and 5,000 people may or may not seem small to you depending on where you live, but for Northern Illinois, the town that we live in is pretty small, and the adjacent town is similar to size, and so it's a smaller community. And these cars are, though you see them, nobody knows anyone with one. And it was just a very strange thing that even at a funeral, you know, the family of the deceased were insistent on going out looking at the car, and on their own accord, I had not brought anything up. So kind of an unusual situation, but I thought you guys would get a kick out of it. Living in a small town, you develop celebrity status with this car. We go to the grocery store, everyone stares at us as we walk through the parking lot. You know, cashiers will ask us about the car. I mean, it's really something, and I know that will, over time, that will diminish because people get used to seeing the car. They'll become more common in that, but I've had the car for several months now, and it doesn't seem to be reducing at all yet. And since I put the 20-inch wheels on, I get it even more because it adds a more aggressive look to the car, so the car stands out a little bit more. But anyway, what are your guys' experience? Have you run into this kind of thing before, and what are your thoughts on it? So go ahead and give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't before. Got a lot of cool things coming up. My lowering springs were supposed to be put on today, but the shop doing the work said that the lifts are full of cars right now, and I wanted to do it on a Wednesday because Wednesday is my wild card day of my week when I get filming and editing and different things done. So we're going to reschedule the spring install for next Wednesday. So today I'll be doing some other things. I'm going to try and wrap up the video for pulling out the trunk liner so you guys can see the subwoofer and other technical bits back there. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you again soon. Take it easy.